The following clip was recorded live for LEAF, a first-of-its-kind accelerator and fellowship for BIPOC women-led businesses. LEAF. Growing equity, one entrepreneur at a time.
So welcome everyone again, and for the mamas in the room, happy Mother's Day again. For those celebrating Sunday or today, doesn't matter. It should be Mother's Day every day, right? So again, welcome, and Martha is here for a part 2 of SEO. So I hope you're all ready to take notes. And Martha, whenever you're ready, go ahead and take it away for us. We're here to learn.
All right, sounds good. Let me go ahead and share my screen again. So cool. So let's see. I wanted to do more of like a working session so that the folks who are here and folks who are going to be watching this later on are going to get more out of a workshop than just lecture and education. So that's something that I'm hoping to get out of today. So I wanted to review the fundamentals that we went over in the first part, and I also have a form for folks to fill out in terms of where they're at with their SEO strategies, any blockers that you're having, and then we'll go ahead and do a live demo in order to demonstrate how one would go about when campaigning and wanting to increase their conversions.
Martha, you're not on present mode, FYI.
I'm not on present mode?
No.
What do you mean?
On the top right-hand corner where it says share, there is a little present button. Just click on that. Because now we see your desktop.
What exactly are you talking about?
What we see is your Canva templates on the left-hand side, and then the editable version of your your slides.
So what do you want me to click?
Present.
Oh, I'm sorry, you mean on Canva?
Yes.
Oh, got you. Yes. So I'm actually gonna move over to this one over here. And then, yeah, so I'm gonna be switching tabs a lot, which is why I may not be on present, but I can totally do it. So in terms of reviewing, I just wanted to go over like the types of SEO. So of course we have the on-page, off-page, and technical. So on-page, anything that is housed on your website, and off-page referring to anything that is not housed on your website, such as social media, any press reports, if you have a blog, a YouTube channel. And then we also have technical SEO, which is dealing with how search engines are ranking your website. And you, of course, want to have a higher ranking, because if you're on page 3 of Google, the likelihood of somebody clicking through all of those pages, clicking on your website, clicking on your product, and finally checking out is lowered. So that you have to consider when you're formulating your SEO strategy. There's different types of SEOs, and focusing on on-page SEO is a convention, but we'll get a little bit more into that. So as we went through last time, you have a couple of different things that you can do to improve your on-page SEO. That includes your keyword research, putting in your meta descriptions, putting in as many pages as possible in order to increase that ranking, because you want the search engines to pick up as many keywords as possible within the different pages. And considering that you have your what is called like a crawl budget, you want to have more pages on your website, because the more pages means, of course, higher chances of being ranked at the top. And keeping in mind, of course, just like the conventions where search engines only recognize 3 to 5 keywords, Whereas off-page SEO deals with domain authority, backlinks, again, the social media, any channels that you have, whether it be Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok. All of that has to do with the way that your business is also being presented from the outside world. So those backlinks, gaining those tags, those mentions is also something that's really important when you're considering where to hone in on. And finally, we have technical SEO, which has to do with indexation, the architecture of your website, page speed, accessibility, going back to the W3 standards and the liabilities, your user experience, which is UX, and ending with the crawl budget. These are terms that I would definitely encourage folks to do some research on if this doesn't sound familiar to you. These are pretty fundamental concepts, and it's worth mentioning that SEO is ever changing. However, it doesn't change overnight. So these are concepts that as a business owner, you are going to have to be aware of, and it would be to your benefit if you are knowledgeable on them, because then whether you're doing a DIY strategy or you're having somebody do it for you who does this professionally, the more that you know about it, the more that you're going to be able to put your input, and your input as a business owner definitely matters. You want to have as much control over your campaigns as possible, or just be knowledgeable on what's going on for the very least. Industry standard in terms of where to start with SEO, you do want to start with the on-page. So you want to start with cleaning up your website, with getting those quality images, with naming them, with putting the alt text, putting the meta description on your pages. And then you want to branch out to your off-page. Or I'm sorry, I'm talking about industry standard. So industry standard, you go on page, they deal with technical, and then they go off page. However, I would recommend for business leaders to focus on page and off page and learn technical as you're going along, because I feel like the on page and the off page concepts that we're introducing are manageable concepts that folks can actually carry out and implement in their digital assets, whereas technical SEO, it takes a little bit more time to really understand and to work on. So definitely focus on your website. Your website houses your digital assets, and branch out into whatever other social media, blog, YouTube channel that you may have. And keep in mind that it's going to be you want it to be a two-way street. You want to be directing your traffic from your social media channels onto your website, and having your icons, your social media icons on your website in order to direct the traffic that is coming from Google, for example, onto your social media, where you have, for example, a Instagram live every week where you're engaging with your clientele, your customer base on a weekly basis, which is what is going to get you recurring conversions. So that's a little overview of what SEO is. Just wanted to do a kind of temperature check and see where everybody's at in terms of, is this making sense to folks? There's only like 4 folks, so we can go around.
Well, for me, it's a little bit harder to understand it, but I kind of get it. And we are working on it. I know my sister and Leslie and me are working on like the, what are they called? Like renaming all of our like our images and all of that. So that's what we're working on right now, to be able to put everything back into our website, how it's supposed to be named that way, and then the descriptions and all of that. So,
Nice. That's good to hear.
Yeah, we're working on the keyword research.
Cool. What is your industry, if you don't mind me asking?
we sell leather handbags.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
So clothing,
Yeah,
fashion,
retail.
accessories,
Yeah,
retail.
fashion. Yeah, more accessories.
Got it. Cool. And then Jocelyn, what about you?
So far from what I had listened, since I came like 5 or 6 minutes late, so far I get it.
Okay, sounds good. What is your business leader or like the name of their business?
I'm in the merchandise industry, or at least I'm thinking of going into the merchandise industry. If you need like anything more specific, it would be more like anime related.
Oh, okay, cool. Ale, you said that Jocelyn is a fellow?
No, I had mentioned Leslie's a fellow. So,
Oh, Leslie's a fellow. Oh, okay.
and I
Oh.
invited El Camino College as well. Jocelyn, are you from El Camino College?
Yes, I'm from El Camino College.
Got it. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Cool. Cool. And then Lenora is, I mean, I'm, going to be doing your SEO, of course, but is this making sense to you in terms of the educational aspect?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Awesome. Great. So I have a form that I want to go ahead and put out. It's essentially a reflection. So what are your business goals for this month, for the year, for the next 5 years? And it's just kind of going over what I just asked. So what, is this making sense? What have you been doing? But really what I want to hear as well is if you have any blockers and what are your blockers? So I'll go ahead and drop this in the chat.
And I just mentioned in the chat that we had a training session for the fellows on analytics. So this ties in with SEO. So if your fellows haven't shared with you, I am sharing the recording on here because I know some leaders wanted to see the recording. I added it in here in the chat, and feel free to watch it. And then when I send out the recap, I'll send the link again for the recording.
Sounds good. Yeah, thank you, Ale. That was a session with a good amount of folks. So we had a lot of questions and it was a lot of information. So definitely recommend for folks to watch the recap. Cool. So I'll go ahead and give you all 5 minutes. So at 6:25, then you all can submit them and we can go ahead and continue from there. How does that sound?
How do we type in the form? I can't type in there.
You can't type in there?
No, do I have to hit something?
Typically you just hit the form field and
Oh,
then
there it goes. Okay, now it's type. Okay.
Yeah? Okay, cool.
Uh-oh.
Okay, cool. So 6:25, I'll go ahead and check back in.
My cursor went away.
Are you good on your are you on your laptop or your phone?
I'm on my laptop.
Oh, and you're
Hmm.
not able to fill it out?
No, my cursor was in the name field, but then when I started typing, it went away.
Hmm.
Let me see what happened. Create your own. Oh, made it smaller.
Maybe you can copy and paste it into the search engine again. So I'm not having any problems. I'm able to type.
Oh. I don't know. Well, you know what, Martha, since you're working with me, I can just,
Yeah,
we'll
that's
just say
fine.
it. We'll just say it, because, oh, there it is. Oh, there it is outside. There's my arrow. I'm trying to bring it inside the form. Why am I having problems? Yeah, my arrow stays outside the purple, in the purple area. It won't go inside the form.
Well, we can definitely go through the questions and then I can just type it in, and we can just do it that way for you.
Okay. It's the second time I've had technical issues, huh?
But yeah, feel free to like write it down elsewhere. It doesn't have to be in the forms exactly, since you're already working with me at
Yeah.
this is something we're already going to discuss.
All right, I'm just gonna write it down. I don't know what happened. It was there. It went
Okay.
away. Wait, let's see. Uh-oh, is that it? Nope, that's not it either. Now my arrow on the outside is gone. Huh.
I awesome. Cool. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and move over to page 2 of the participants. I see that we have a couple more folks, so let's see. Brenda, would you like to share any of your goals and maybe some improvements that you've made or any blockers that you had?
Yeah, so I mean, we've been trying to improve our SEOs for a while. We even made a consultation with, I think Robert was from Google that did like a session with us a while ago. And I don't I've tried to use like different tags on my pages, try to improve like there's like on Wix, they have like different boxes where you put like your words, your tags, and whatever. And it just doesn't seem to be working, or maybe I'm not doing it right. But our goal essentially, like for the last year, has been to improve our online sales, just because it's been kind of we don't get as much traffic, and the traffic that we do get is through social media. So it's not by searching or by searches, search engines, or anything like that. It's not organic as if people were to look for Latina apparel or, you know, shirts and stuff like that. So everything is been traffic coming through social media specifically. So I know our SEOs. And then every time I try to go on Wix and do SEOs, I just get all these spammy emails of people who want to like improve our SEOs. But yeah, so our blockers have been, I think I know some websites. I know Spotify is a little bit easier to navigate versus Wix. And I think Google is, because it's Google, like it's easier to get your tags and everything, and your search engines, your website to show more on search engines. But for Wix, it's just been like such a hassle. So I guess my blocker, my main one would be just trying to understand the platform that I'm in.
I see. Okay, and may I ask, is there anything that you have housed on your website that you don't have on social media, or is it kind of like a reflection of each other?
It's a reflection of each other, and like our online sales have increased ever since Instagram allows you to add links to your
Right.
story now. So that's helped tremendously. But other than that, we'll look our fellow is actually looking at our analytics, and she tracks the traffic that we get either through like Databox or Instagram or Wix directly.
Right.
And it's either email campaigns. So they've clicked on email campaigns that we've sent directly through Wix, or it's been on social media presence, but nothing that comes from searches.
From organic search engines. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you're mentioning that, because I feel like search engine optimization can also be very theoretical. And it's worth noting that some folks have been businesses that are not mainstream. There's not a lot of folks typing in, Latina apparel. It's a very niche thing, and it's okay to be niche because not everybody's SEO strategy is going to look the same. And in fact, what I see more and more with small businesses, micro enterprises, is exactly what you're saying, Brenda, that most of the traffic comes from either social media, kind of like a family friends round where it's, either word of mouth or, they saw your social media, so they're supporting you by sharing, and that's how you're growing, right? It's usually not the case that folks are getting a bunch of traffic from, Google, unless it's a service, for example, like a professional service where folks are already typing in to the search engines looking for those types of services. Because we typically, and I remember saying this last time, like, we're not going to look for professional services on social media. That's not typically what we do. We typically look for professional services on search engines. We look for products, and different types of services on social media. So it's keeping in mind what your industry is, what your business type is, what your business goals are, and honing in on that and starting a campaign over those goals. So I'll go ahead and ask one more person to share, whoever would like to review their answers. Or I could call on somebody. How about George?
We're just on the strike team.
Oh, he's on the strike team? Okay, got it. How about Imani?
I joined like 2 minutes ago. I have no idea what's happening right now.
No worries, no worries. Okay, well, right now we're going through the form that is dropped in the chat. So what are your business goals, and have you made any improvements since the first workshop, Introduction to SEO? And if you haven't made any, what are your blockers?
I can probably tackle the first one, the business goals for this month for me. I'm restructuring my offerings and services for scale, and more, more kind of like developing a high ticket offer in addition to what I already do. So for me, it's been a lot of like kind of like course creation really. And then improvements I've made to digital assets. I don't remember if I was on the first workshop or not, but I've kind of updated a bit of my SEO on my website. I don't have it for all of my pages. And then social media wise, I've been kind of also refocusing my branding because my market is changing a bit, but I think that answers the questions.
Cool. Yeah. No, thank you. I appreciate the on-the-spot participation. Cool. So I just wanted to kind of get a feel of where folks are at in terms of your social media strategy. Go over any blockers that you all have had, because I feel that because it's such a huge concept, sometimes folks can get discouraged or feel like they're not doing enough. So just keep in mind that website, social media, everything is a living document. And you just need to kind of chip away at it. And of course, set your goals, set your campaign strategy, but just treat it as a living document and don't beat yourself up over not having the best SEO possible. All in due time, as they like to say. But so why is SEO important? So I'm just gonna reiterate that you want to connect with your target audience, and in order to do that, you need to have the correct keywords, the correct hashtags, the correct tags. And the reason why that's important, connecting with your target audience, is because that is what's going to lead to your conversions. And ideally, you want to have recurring conversions. So there is a higher likelihood for you to be able to retarget. So for you, if somebody buys something from your business, you want to keep them coming back. That is what is going to give you that steady increase in terms of conversions. And that's also an area that you want to focus on in terms of keeping your clientele. So your website, social media, I like to say they're like a digital business card. Business cards are going out of date now with COVID. So it's really important to have your polished digital assets because they communicate the value of your business to your customers, your clients, and also to potential investors, whether it be through loans, through grants, through venture capital. They also showcase your products and services. So it gives a description of what you're selling, and don't shy away from putting as much as possible on when you're posting on social media, for example, or when you're putting up a product on your website, when you're putting up a blog. Again, going back to having more keywords, more pages, and a higher, not just ranking, but the better that you are at conveying your information, the more folks are going to want to buy. If you leave them with more to remember, something that is valuable, something that is worth mentioning to other folks, something that is shareable, they're going to want to buy what you have and they're going to want to come back. So you also want to, of course, keep in mind that your digital assets are also ways to capture data. So you want to be building that email list. You want to have those forms. And this is important because, for example, I started out with the thought of having a digital literacy campaign. So one of the reasons why I asked folks to fill out the form is so that when there's, another workshop, I can let you all know, since you're interested in improving your SEO, I know who to send it to, rather than just sending it to my entire contact list, which is, it's not a bad idea to send it out to as many people as possible, but you also want to, again, connect with your target audience. So having forms, having your email list. We just heard from Brenda, saying how a part or many of her conversions are coming from the email campaigns that she's doing directly from Wix. In order to do an email campaign, you need the emails. So building that out is part of that that SEO strategy. And they are, of course, like housing everything that you have. So they're housing your engagements and your conversions. And now I just wanted to recap a little bit of what we went over in terms of data analysis. So data analysis, the reason why that's important is because you want to be able to describe, condense, and evaluate data. When you're posting on social media, for example, you want to be able to know that what you are posting, whether it's a reel, whether it's a video, whether it's a standalone post, that your audience is responding well to it, that your content is valuable, whether that means that you're a clothing brand owned by by a Latina, or whether it's like Shop Black Ego, supporting BIPOC women entrepreneurs would be a sort of theme right there. but you want to be able to confirm that what you're putting out is giving you results. Otherwise, you're working harder and not smarter. And I'm definitely not a fan of that. So the key metrics in terms of data analysis is going to be reach, engagement, and conversions. And in order to do the live demo that we're going to get into with the campaigning, we'll go ahead and keep these 3 metrics in mind. So for the live demo, we're going to go ahead and do a very simple template in terms of how to do a campaign. When we talk about campaigns, they could be very grandiose and fancy. And I think of, you know, like a meeting in a room with like a whiteboard and all these papers, and it can look like that, depending on the size of the business, depending on the size of the budget. However, for most folks, for example, within the LEAF cohort, that is going to be more of like a DIY, we can scale it down. It doesn't have to be so grandiose and intimidating. The 3 basics of a campaign are setting goals, creating the plan of action, and tracking your conversions. So I'll go ahead and move over to a Google Doc over here. And I intentionally wanted to fill this out on the spot because I want folks to be able to replicate this type of work outside of the workshop. So my goal in this is to be able to pass this over, but for folks to actually use it, for folks to actually go in and create, you know, the plan of action after setting the goal and create and write how they're going to track their conversions. It's really nothing fancy. It can be done even on a piece of paper. The point is that you have to have your goals, your plan of action, and then of course you need to have the data analysis in order to track your conversion. So I went ahead and thought of like a random campaign, and I was like, okay, so I'm going to think of a campaign where we're going to support LEAF BIPOC entrepreneurs. And the way that we're going to do this is we're going to use LEAF's social media in order to promote the different business leaders that we have. So the target audience is going to be the BIPOC population, including but not limited to socially conscious friends, family, educators, other entrepreneurs in the SoCal region. Can everybody hear me okay? I saw that my internet is unstable.
Oh, you're good, Martha. You did
Yeah,
kind of
okay.
slow down for a bit and then it sped up, but we were able to hear you.
Okay, perfect, cool. So again, keeping that target audience in mind, we're gonna target who we're already speaking to in terms of our social media. We're not gonna go out and look for more folks, but we're already looking at the audience that we have. And for the first box over here, I put 3 of them. We'll go through the 3. So for the first one right here, I put the goal is to drive traffic to X leaders online shops via Instagram. So here the X is going to represent any leaders that have clothing and accessories that are like, you know, in the fashion industry, selling clothing and accessories and have online shops. So we're specifically going to hone in on those leaders. And in order to drive traffic to their online shops, we're going to create content that is promoting online shopping. So the question, of course, is, well, what content? And that going back to the conversation of the cycle of content creation. So what is a post? On Instagram, you have your picture, your video, your reel, and you have your caption as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this over here. So one thing I've noticed about LEAF's kind of like style aesthetic is that there's a lot of words, or like, how do I say this? Let me go ahead and open up their Instagram. So I like that the Instagram here is really informative. This one, for example, you know, has like words on the post, right? So I noticed that that's like a kind of aesthetic that Leaf has. Therefore, I'm gonna go ahead and try to emulate that. So in order to do that, I am going to intentionally recycle some content that I already have, that I've already made for Leaf. So let's see, I have these two right here that I've already made. Clearly the one that matches that style the most would be this one right here. So just wanted to show that you do not have to reinvent the wheel. This is a lot of what I do in terms of like content creation for myself and the businesses that I do. Not to say that everything should look the same either, but you also do not want to be spending too much time when you don't have to. So I'm just gonna do that right there. And if I actually was going to create, you know, content for Leaf, I would of course run through their brand book, which I know they do have, and get the font. So make this font specific to their font. I'm not sure if I have it specific to theirs. I don't believe I do. But that's kind of the gist of it, right? That you're keeping in mind the type of content that, hold on, okay, now this is like, now I'm taking this seriously. So let me go ahead and just edit this really quick. Okay, so I'm not going to get too far into that, but the point is that that's the type of content that you would create. And for your caption, for example, you would want to include the keywords that you've already researched. So putting in keywords that have a lot of importance within the fashion industry, whether it be handbags, shirts, like whatever those keywords are. I personally am not sure because I haven't researched those keywords, but that of course is your homework in terms of your industry, being specific with those keywords and mentioning them in the post, having of course your mentions, which is to say, you know, at Piel Morena, at Shop Black Ego, having the folks also tagged within the post would be another check on the list to go down, and having the hashtag. So for hashtag research, what I personally like to do is to go ahead and start with the hashtag. And if you're doing, for example, shop small, you said shop small right there, shop small business, and you see the number of hashtags that are already posted. You do want to target short, long, and well, for now, I'll just leave you with that. So you have short and you have long, and then you also have hashtags that you're going to create. But for now, I would, for example, go with, I would probably put both of these. And you could also do shop small business and shop small, because this has less than 1 million and these have over 1 million. So considering the size of your account, you also want to adjust the type of the size of the hashtag in terms if it's going to be a one with like further reach or one with a smaller reach, because if your account is a little bit smaller, there's less likelihood that you're going to be bumped into the category of the millions. So just keeping those things in mind. But you also don't want to limit yourself so much, because I've had posts show up from accounts that are not huge in hashtag categories that are. So it's never black and white with social media. You have to be very experimental, but in order to experiment and have success, you have to be tracking those analytics. So creating the post, creating the caption, having your mentions, your hashtags, your tags, And finally, the way that I would actually track something like this, a campaign where I'm seeing if the traffic is actually going to the leaders' pages, is you track it using the click-through rate on the link tree. So right here, link tree, you would use Bitly. So how many folks use Bitly? Raise of hands, maybe.
I use Bitly. all the
Yes,
time,
cool, cool, cool.
and I get creative with the words. Try to make it as short as possible.
Right.
Yeah, for shortening links, Imani.
Yes, for shortening links and also for tracking the click-through rate. So those, for me, the click-through rate, tracking that is more important than shortening the link because it does give you like a memorable link, but being able to track how many people are clicking at what time, that's really where your bread and butter is at. So I would create a bit.ly link where, for example, I'm able to track the metrics. There we go. So this is like a pretty old one. I wouldn't expect folks to be, oh, but they are clicking on it. So it tells you when they clicked, the total clicks, and if you have a paid advanced version, then it'll give you more more analytics as well. But in terms of being able to see if they're clicking on, let's say that we had another box down here and we had piel morena on there, I would be able to see if the piel morena box was clicked because I have the bit.ly link. So therefore I'm able to track my click-through rate in that way. And Linktree also offers that as part of their metrics, but you do have to have a paid version in order to see the other features as well. So I would recommend, if that's, you know, ever something that you're wanting to track, if people are clicking on your Linktree links, I would use Bitly. So
Yeah, Imani shared that she uses Linktree for tracking.
yeah.
She says pixels as well.
Yes, exactly. So there's different software for tracking links. You have, yes, exactly. You have Pixels, you have I mean, yeah, Linktree, but I'm not sure if you're using the paid version or the free version. Imani, are you on the free or the paid? Okay, well, point is that
It's
yes,
free.
different software and whatever works for you, whatever you feel more comfortable with, the point is that you want to be tracking that. Otherwise, you wouldn't know if what you're doing in terms of content creation is working or not. And let's say that it's not working. Let's say, and by working, I mean that we're not seeing an increase in terms of the click-through rate. So maybe we need to change the type of content that we're making. Maybe we need to make a reel since the social media algorithms are leaning towards that right now. That is why data analysis is important, because you wouldn't know what to create, whether it's effective or not, unless you're tracking the stats.
And Martha, Imani shared that she's using the free version of Linktree, and it gives clicks and a few other metrics she shared in the chat.
It does, yeah. I can actually go in there as well. I might remember my password. Okay, one more try. Cool. Okay, so this is my my personal stuff, so not showing anybody's business or anything like that. So let's see. This is the free version. This is what I am able to see on my end. So insights, and then if I go to like the other features, then it does give me, you know, the upgrading kind of thing. But yeah, so that's essentially what I'm trying to say, that it'll give you an overview on Linktree, but it won't go into detail. So if I wanted to see, you know, who are the 40 people who clicked, or when did they click, at what time, that's why I would lean towards Bitly, because it gives you a little bit more information in terms of like the total clicks, the dates as well, which for me is important. But yes, there's always analytics on every platform that you're going to be dealing with. So whether you're looking at the analytics on there or having a different platform to track your analytics, it's important to have them. How is everybody feeling? Is this making sense so far? Any questions? Anything anybody would like to add?
I wanted to quickly mention, and like Martha said, I hope it's making sense for everyone, but on Bitly, what I meant by shortening the link, like getting creative with the words, is if you're using it because someone will be typing the website or the link to be able to join whatever it is that you want them to see. So I used to work on flyers a lot and used to post them all over campus. So I needed to make the Bitly short and sweet and easy for
Yes.
people to access, right? So I had to get creative with words. So when we talk about SEO, I kind of had an SEO for, you know, for flyers. I had to grab their attention and make it easy. Things like uppercase, lowercase became an issue because people would forget that they're uppercase sensitive when you type the Bitly link. And so I had to make sure that everything was lowercase just in case everyone decided to like type it up in lowercase. So it's things like that that I had to do when I used Bitly, and I kept track of the metrics. And if the metrics were kind of low, maybe it was something, maybe my link was too long. So it's just a different way of tracking metrics and a different way of using a Bitly link as opposed to adding it into, you know, something that people are viewing online that they could just click to.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely the marketing side of Bitly is really helpful for sure. Like and going back to the keywords of SEO, just like I was saying, like you want to make it short, sweet, but catchy. And that's difficult when you only have a certain amount of words, and you're also dealing with other folks, you know, competing with combinations that folks have already made. So it's no easy task, that's for sure. But you get better at it. You know, you just kind of get in your flow. So that's why I did a very like just you know, very note-like document so that folks don't feel intimidated, so that you don't feel like I can't do this. Because it can definitely feel like that. But going back to the goals, you don't have to set something that is sky high. You can chip away at it. So for the next example, for example, I put the goal is to increase conversions for X leaf leaders by at least 10% in 6 months. So here the X represents local vendors. Sorry, let me go ahead. Local vendors, leaf leaders are local vendors at events and pop-ups. A plan of action here could be to create content promoting their events. So we could create a calendar of events, whether it be on Google or another platform. The point is to create that cohesive, centralized document that folks can see, okay, if I'm gonna if I want to support BIPOC women entrepreneurs, where can I go to do this? And if I want to specifically support Leaf because I believe in their mission and vision, where can I do that? When can I do that? That calendar of events would make it real nice and easy for folks to do that. You can also, for example, create a carousel, which is just the multiple photos on Instagram. So you could have all the different event flyers from the Leaf leaders who are a part of this campaign and have it posted in a single carousel. You can also do, a standalone post or make reels showcasing the different products and maybe putting some dates of where you can catch these different vendors. In terms of tracking conversions, this one I intentionally also made it a little bit, it's kind of a gray area, because in terms of tracking the conversions here, that would be a little bit difficult. But there are ways to do it. For example, that would be up to the Leaf leaders, who would be the vendors, asking folks, how did you hear about us? How, what brings you here today? So knowing where their traffic is coming from could also come from customer feedback, from engaging with your customers directly, which social media algorithms love. And it also just creates that better buyer experience, at least in my opinion. Whenever I'm at an event, whenever I'm somewhere where there's like booths and vendors, I feel more comfortable when the vendors are more interactive rather than when they're just kind of like chilling there. Every shopper is different, but from the friends that I have as vendors, they seem to agree with that it's a higher likelihood to make a sale when you're engaging your customer base on a genuine level, not on this weird, on them level, but just on a genuine level, sharing about your business, sharing what is so special about your products. Maybe Piel Morena gets, from what I remember, they have their product sourced from Mexico. So that's really dope. You want to be putting out what makes your business stand out. And in that way, building that rapport. And then it doesn't, it doesn't become so scary to ask the person, how did you hear about us? So that's another example. And finally, I put here, so a goal would be to drive traffic to X leaders, IG pages. Maybe I'll just take that off. And here we're going to focus on professional services. So we have, for example, Cynthia doing financial coaching. We have spa services, beauty services. So we have a couple folks who don't necessarily have like physical, online stores, but we have professional services. So creating a plan of action here would be using, I put, for example, like using Instagram stories with mentions. So that's one thing that can be done in terms of tracking, because the metrics within Instagram will allow you to track the sticker taps. So you're going to go ahead and create, your content, and then you're going to post it manually on your phone, because you cannot do it on a desktop, but you're going to use your phone, put the sticker on there. And then once your story is like a couple hours in, then you're going to be tracking that metric, and that metric is going to be your sticker tap. So are my Instagram stories where I'm mentioning these professional services, are they being effective? Are folks interested in the businesses that I'm putting out? Do I need to make more engaging content? Those are the questions that need to be revisited whenever campaigning, because it's also worth mentioning that your strategy it's going to be revised. It's going to be kind of like that living document where you're putting out content, seeing the response. If you have a positive response, then you follow up on that thread. If it's not a good response, then you see what you need to improve. Was your timing off? Do you need more hashtags? Do you need less hashtags? Do you need different type of content? Do you need better quality photos? Those are all different questions that legitimately play into your reach, which of course will speak on your engagement and finally leak into your conversions. So it's 7:03, and what I want to do is to do a working session in terms of putting out examples of campaigns with folks here. So I would love to use somebody like as an example in terms of their business. Would anybody like to volunteer?
Use mine.
Yes, yes. I was gonna fall back on you, definitely.
Well, can I ask also, the
Cool. So
person,
let's see.
the person who's using the Wix account, who was that? Who's using the Wix platform? It was
Brenda?
Brenda.
Brenda. Yeah, I'd like to get your information because I use Wix also. Maybe we can exchange information. Maybe there's some things that you're doing or some things that I'm doing. We can learn from each other.
Can we schedule like a group session with Martha so she
Yeah,
can
yeah,
go
absolutely.
through it with both of us?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Well, actually, if she wants to, she can join our session tomorrow that we're going to do at, are you available tomorrow at, what is it, 2:00?
Mhm.
I might be. Let's touch base and like schedule it, because yeah, I would totally be interested in collaborating, because I'm still trying to figure it out and I've tried different things, and it'd be nice to get like new set of eyes.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't mind sharing my session for tomorrow. So, Martha, maybe you can send her the Zoom session that we go to
Yeah,
tomorrow.
definitely. If you have
Yeah.
time, feel free to join us. If not, then we can definitely set something up. I know it's a little last minute for Brenda, but that sounds great. Absolutely. I'm always down for collaboration. That's cool. On that note, we can definitely put as a goal, so we can put increased conversions via email campaign, via Wix email campaign. So we won't have an X here. And now we're going to be creating content, promoting, let's see, so promoting online shopping for Brown Haze Jewelry. And we're going to highlight that it's handmade, that it's local, and that we're supporting BIPOC women entrepreneurs.
Can we add in sustainably sourced?
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for adding that, because that this is the stuff that you want to be highlighting, like what sets you apart. That is what you want to put at the top, whether it's, sustainably sourced, whether it's, sourced from a specific part of the world, whether it's, in collaboration with other folks from the Philippines, I believe. Ceremonia Shop was like talking about that. So yes, definitely sustainably sourced. Supporting, and anything else you want to add, Lenora, feel free.
Let's see. No, I can't think of anything right now.
But that's the gist of it, right?
Yeah.
So right, so handmade, local, sustainably sourced, you're supporting BIPOC entrepreneurs. So what
I don't know if that the ultimate goal is, of course, to hire the foster kids. Did we say something about foster kids in there?
Yeah, I know. I was thinking that. I had that in mind. I'm like, should we put that out yet? Yeah, we could definitely put
you could say support social enterprise. Yeah, supporting foster children or foster youth. Yeah, that's fine.
Right. So just to give folks a little bit of background on what Lenora does, what her goals are, her mission, her vision. So Lenora is founder of Brown Hayes Jewelry, and she would like to support foster youth. That is her long-term goal by, of course, increasing those conversions, expanding her business, and then hiring foster youth. So in order to build up to that, we're, of course, getting the SEO together and all that good stuff. So that being the end goal. And I really like that as part of the story. I think it works really well for an email campaign as well, because the difference, for example, between an email campaign and a social media campaign is that your email campaign is going to be a lot more text heavy. And that is a good place to put it, because that's going to be a story, that's going to be a lot of words. So what type of content? It's going to be emails.
Emails, jewelry pictures.
Right. And we are
Oh.
going to include pictures, not to say, yes, not to say that we're not going to have any pictures at all.
Okay.
Right. But I'm just trying to highlight the difference between, for example, a social media campaign that you would run on either Facebook or Instagram, because you have a 2,200 character limit on Instagram, for example, whereas on your email, you're not subjected to that length. So you can definitely put more information, and also putting links. That's another important part of the email campaign that you wouldn't be able to carry out, for example, on like social media as efficiently. So in an email campaign, you want to include, yes, the text, email text, pictures, links, and then you want to also be capturing data. And that, of course, is through forms. So Jotform is a pretty user-friendly site that you can go to. That's the form that I had like you all, fill out. So it's a pretty user-friendly, you just kind of drag and drop the blocks. It's something I would recommend to folks. So if you want to put in forms into your email, that's always recommendable in terms of building that client base, because you also want to know who is opening your emails. You want to be keeping track of the click-through rate, and MailChimp is actually really good about this. So they'll actually let you know who is opening your emails. So it'll give you the list and ranking too, like this person is number 1 in opening your emails, and number 2, number 3. So you want to be knowledgeable in terms of who you're going to be targeting and how much energy you're going to be putting into that. So we're going to create an email campaign. The goal is to increase conversions. The plan of action is to create our emails using these highlighted portions of the business. So this is the value that we're bringing, and we're going to put in some links in order to, some buttons, some links in order for folks to be able to press shop now and go directly into the product, make it really easy for them. Really something that I like to focus on is like product highlights even, so what is so special about this product that we are selling? Let's say that it's a copper necklace with some turquoise that was ethically harvested in Navajo Nation. That's where a lot of turquoise comes from. So we would write an email highlighting where we got it from, how it's sustainably sourced, putting a picture of it in different angles, and also spreading out the pictures and the text so that folks are having a good user experience, so that it's flowing, so that when they get to the bottom where I have my shop now button, they will click on it, and not just click on it, but actually buy it. So the more description that you give about a product, the higher the likelihood of you getting a conversion, rather than just having your product sitting there on your website or social media. And it looks nice, yes, but the goal is to have sales. The goal is to have conversions. And in order to do that, you want to be playing into the retargeting. So put it on Instagram, but also put it in email and send it out, so you want to be consistent. Folks sometimes need those reminders. So don't feel like you're spamming people. It's up to them if they want to open it or not. And you always have that unsubscribe button. So if they so choose to unsubscribe, that's okay. They're not part of your target audience. And what your goal is to find your target audience. So here, the metric would be the click-through rate, not just on the email, but on the actual, let's say that we did a product email. So click-through rate on the product that we have in question. And this is something that we're actually going to carry out. So I will definitely, if Lenore is okay with it, I'll let you know, our metrics and how this campaign goes. But those are the 3 very basic steps. You don't have to get super fancy with your campaigns when you're barely starting out. Practice makes you better. I'm definitely a perfectionist, so a part of me doesn't believe in perfect, but you just have to chip away at it. Learn something every day. Keep researching. Anything that doesn't make sense, research it. You also can hit me up, feel free to hit me up. If something that you Googled is still not making sense, you tried to research it, reach out. Not everything is going to be straightforward on the internet. This definitely it's taken me a while, but it's possible, and it's important, and I want us to all succeed. So with that, I'll go ahead and open the floor for questions. If anybody has any specifics in terms of campaigns or any clarification, now would be that time. How is everybody feeling after this workshop or after the presentation? Are we feeling good? Are we feeling scared, intimidated, excited?
I think what in Lenora said good. Yeah, Brenda said
Overwhelmed.
overwhelmed. Yeah. I think what's going on here is that everyone has so much to do and they haven't really maybe started the process. And so they're not really going to know what the answers are until they start the process. Yeah, Brenda said
Right.
also makes it more attainable. Yeah. Are you going to share this the file that you were going over?
Yeah.
Are you going to share that with us? Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll send it in the recap and I'll share the link to that file so that you can create your goals based on what you see on your analytics. And I shared in the chat, be sure to take a look at your analytics before you make any SEO changes, and then take a look at your analytics after just to see what changed. Maybe what you're doing isn't working and you're noticing it maybe because it's not creating the conversions you want, right? So if it's not creating the conversions, it's important to see what were you doing before and what did you do after, and compare. Maybe it's not working. Maybe you need to try something else.
Yeah, I think it's a little confusing, but little by little, I think we're getting it more and more. And I think once, like Alice said, we make the changes and we see the difference, then if anything, we'll just reach out to you for help.
And you have a free session, right? A consultation session, Martha?
Right. Yeah. So introductory consultation, 30 minutes. I mean, if it goes over 30, for friends, social networks, or, that's fine. So yeah, definitely reach out whenever you get that process started. I understand that it's, it's intimidating at first. It can be. But it also doesn't have to be. You can start small, and that's how I like to do things, version by version, trial by trial. You usually don't get things on the first try. So this is no different. And taking those free classes that Shopify, WordPress, all the major content management systems, they offer them. So definitely do that as well. And Google Analytics as well. I mean, it all just depends how much time you have, what your goals are, and how much you're wanting to invest in it. But that you will get, whether it's, higher reach, engagement, or conversions, you will. You just have to really, have your campaigns and like track everything. Like you just have to put effort. It takes effort, but it's definitely worth it. Is though That's what I have seen personally, before SEO and after SEO. It's a whole different world for me now. I'm like, wow, like everyone needs to know about this because it gives you massive improvement when you're able to leverage the power of SEO. So yeah, I look forward to hearing what improvements folks are going to be making. And I also wanted to ask, just kind of like as a closing question, unless anybody else has more questions, what would you like to see in terms of topics covered? Because I do see that there's a need for these workshops. I'm just trying to see where exactly folks are and what the needs are. So yes, what are folks' needs in terms of SEO like right now?
I think it's also understanding what the algorithm is. If we don't understand what the algorithm is, then we won't know how to make the changes. So for example, Instagram, right? They're continuously changing their algorithms. How or what would you suggest we do to continuously stay up to date on algorithms?
I am going to drop a link. So let's see.
Because earlier you mentioned that on Instagram, the algorithm recently changed to Reels, right?
Right.
Reels is the thing now. I guess it's similar to, yeah, Brenda
Yeah.
says she hates algorithms.
Yeah.
It's similar to TikTok. TikTok is so easy,
Yeah.
3 minutes, and you just like swipe, swipe, swipe. And so I guess the same thing's happening with Instagram. So,
Mhm.
and what is this, Martha, that you
So I
shared?
just dropped a link to the creators account, and that's where they give you all of the updates. They don't hide what is going on with the algorithm. They put it out there. And that is one way to keep up to date. You also have within your account, if you go into your analytics, then it's going to give you different tutorials. If you have a business account, it'll talk about, little e-commerce kind of business related topics. If you have a creator account, it'll talk about content creation. Those are the two types of accounts in terms of data analysis. So depending on the type of account, you'll have different instructional videos, and it's tailored to, whether you're a business owner, content creator, both. So that is how you can keep up to date with the algorithms. And often they
And Martha's starting to get cut off. But while we wait for her to get back, I really quickly wanted to share. I shared the recording of the analytics training that we had for fellows. So if you are a leader here and you have a fellow, the fellows already learned a little bit about analytics on social media. So like Instagram, I think you went over Facebook, and she went over website went a little bit into the newsletter type of analytics. So be sure to watch the recording and have your fellows help you out with this because they learn this. It's very helpful, actually. And I just started looking at analytics, I would say, in 2020. And it was so confusing at first. But once I started to practice, I ended up getting the hang of it. And Martha, sorry,
No, no worries.
you
I
were-
got cut off.
Yeah, you got cut off for a bit there, but glad to see you're back.
Yay. So yeah, finding the algorithm creators, looking within your data analysis tab, that is where you're going to be able to see the changes for Instagram specifically. Facebook is, you know, a whole other thing, TikTok as well. But in terms of keeping up with the changes, the platforms will put them out there. You just have to dig around a little bit for them.
Any
Cool.
other
Any other, yeah, any other questions from anybody? I hope I didn't scare everybody.
Yeah, it takes practice. I think if you start to take a look at the analytics, watch the recording. Like I think I learned some new stuff on the training. So watch the recording, talk to your fellows. We went into breakout sessions with them and they were able to find the analytics that Martha asked them to look for. So that was great practice for them. So if you talk to your fellow and tell them, you know, where are the analytics found for my website or where are the analytics found for my Instagram, they can tell you because they learned this. Martha, again, as always, thank you so much for joining and having these.
Can you hear me?
Oh, you're frozen. I didn't realize that. Yes, so now I can hear you. Uh-oh. You're in Star Wars mode now. Maybe you want to turn off your camera.
Mommy, be a T-Rex.
This is what I'm dealing with
Want to be a mini
right
elephant?
now. My toddler wants to get my attention. You want to say hi?
Hi.
Hi. Thank you for joining us, Martha.
Oh, Martha left.
Yes. Do you
Okay.
have a question though, Brenda?
No, just a little overwhelmed. But
Yeah,
thank you,
definitely.
and I will probably see Martha tomorrow. But yeah, thank you, and I'll be in touch.
Okay. Sounds good.
Bye.
Happy Mother's
Say
Day.
bye.
Bye.
Bye. So I'm not sure if Martha's going to be able to join us. She went into Star Wars mode and now she's gone. But thank you so much for joining. For those of you celebrating Mother's Day today, happy Mother's Day. And if you celebrated Sunday, it should be Mother's Day every day. So happy Mother's Day. And watch the recordings. Reach out to us via Slack. Schedule some time with us or with Maria, and we can definitely help you. Schedule some time with your SBDC advisor. Your SBDC advisor can also help out with this. There's lots of resources. So if you don't remember what it is, Slack me. And if I don't remember what it is, I definitely have the resource to get you the resource. And Martha's joining again. So thank you so much. Angie, did you have a question?
No, I was just gonna say thank you and to tell Martha I said thank you and definitely we will be in touch with her, especially now knowing that we get a free 30-minute session with her. Once you know we do make the changes and everything, and we need any more help, we'll reach out to her. Definitely.
Yeah, definitely take advantage of Martha now with a free 30-minute session. Martha, I'm glad that you're able to join us again.
Yeah, sorry, having a lot of bandwidth issues today, but
Not so
cool. Yes, I will be here. That's good to hear. I'm excited. I'm excited for all the Leaf leaders, you know, to get their digital assets improved for sure.
Yeah, and it was a huge help from you, Martha, just because we had no idea what went behind all of the the wording and all of that. If it didn't come from you, we would have just left our website the way it was, and we would have been like, what's going on, and didn't even have a clue. So thank you.
Good point. Of course, no problem. That's
Yeah.
good to hear.
Okay, Martha, thank you so much. And we will definitely be in touch just in case we need another training session from you, Martha. But I think what everybody really wants to do with you, Martha, is have that free consultation to see what path you have for them. And definitely you need to get compensated, Martha. So I know everybody's willing to do that for you too after that free 30-minute session.
For sure.
Okay.
Sounds good.
So just a reminder for you all, in 2 weeks, we have another lab session. We're trying to see if Hassan is available to do the brand book. I will continue to keep everyone posted. If you are from El Camino College, we canceled or rescheduled our session from last week, Thursday, and we moved it to this Thursday. So I think that's only you, Jocelyn. I hope to see you on Zoom on Thursday. And everyone else will continue to stay in touch via Slack. And you can always email me as well. I'll send you a recap of today's session with the recording. And maybe I'll even add in like the part 1 recording of the SEO training and the analytics training on there as well, so that you all have it. So thank you, everyone, and enjoy the rest of your week. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you for listening to this special audio clip from Leaf. We hope you enjoyed what you heard and will continue to help us amplify the voices of BIPOC women entrepreneurs. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Leaf Cal State LA to stay up to date with our accelerator for emerging entrepreneurs and other resources.